TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Israel vows to unleash its wrath on Lebanon if the Islamic Republic of Iran would use its territory to attack the Jewish state. Peaceful anti-government demonstrations have turned violent over the weekend in Lebanon when Lebanese security forces that were deployed across the capital Beirut in large numbers clashed with protesters during an attempted police-orchestrated crackdown. Brazil has officially opened a new trade and investment promotion agency in the city of Jerusalem and signaled the mission's inauguration as the first step ahead of Brasilia's intention to relocate its embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reiterated Israel's delight regarding the election of UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, insisting that the overwhelming victory of the Conservatives in Great Britain also signified a crushing victory in the struggle against anti-Semitism. Speaking at Jerusalem's weekly cabinet meeting, Netanyahu also highlighted the strong bilateral relations with the United Kingdom, Israel's second most robust trade partner overall after the United States. Netanyahu followed his congratulatory message by raising the cabinet's attention to a recently made threat by a senior Iranian Revolutionary Guards commander who noted Iran's intention to destroy Tel Aviv from Israel's northern neighbor Lebanon. The Israeli Prime Minister underscored that the latest threat from Tehran highlights a simple truth in which its Lebanese proxy Hezbollah is Iran's operational arm in Lebanon against Israel.
בימים האחרונים אנחנו שמענו בכיר ממשמרות המהפכה האיראנים שוב מאיים שאיראן תשמיד את תל אביב מתוך לבנון. ובזה הוא חשף אמת פשוטה, שחיזבאללה היא פשוט זרוע ביצוע של איראן מלבנון נגד ישראל.
Netanyahu referred to a threat by the top advisor of the commander of the IRGC, General Morteza Kolbani, who said that if Israel makes the smallest mistake toward Iran by attacking the Islamic Republic, the Revolutionary Guards will reduce Tel Aviv to ashes from Lebanon without firing a single missile from Iranian territory. The threat by the Iranian general prompted an uproar in Beirut, with numerous Lebanese officials condemning it as irresponsible and arrogant. The vocal backlash in Lebanon quickly caused Iranian officials to try and downplay Tehran's perceived influence in Beirut, with even Hezbollah Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah insisting in a televised speech over the weekend that if someone harms Iran, it will defend itself, and that Iran would not let its allies respond to aggressions against the territory of the Islamic Republic. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stressed that even though Nasrallah immediately denied the remarks made by the IRGC commander, both Hezbollah and the Lebanese state would be subject to Israel's wrath if Lebanon would enable an attack from its territory against the Jewish state.
עכשיו, אף שנסראללה הכחיש מיד, ואני חייב להגיד לכם כמה פעמים את דברי הבכיר האיראני, אני מבקש להבהיר, אם חיזבאללה יעז לתקוף את ישראל, הארגון ומדינת לבנון שמאפשרת התקפות משטחה נגדנו ישלמו מחיר כבד מאוד.
Turning now to the Lebanese capital Beirut, where peaceful anti-government demonstrations have turned violent over the weekend when Lebanese security forces that were deployed across the capital in large numbers clashed with protesters during an attempted police-orchestrated crackdown on Saturday. The attempted crackdown swiftly escalated, with Lebanon's Red Cross reporting dozens of injured protesters. According to local sources who spoke with TV7, the violent clashes, which they referred to as fierce, have only exacerbated the volatile situation, which features a growing dangerous rift within Lebanon's sectarian society. In spite of the violence on Saturday, however, hundreds of Lebanese protesters returned to demonstrate against the country's political elites last night in what once again immediately escalated into violent riots.
بدنا نتفق على شغله انا نازل وما عندي شيء اخسره. انا لبنان اخسر روحي في الثوره كلياتها، وفيها انه لبنان يرجع وطن، وانا عن جد هلا لاول مره بحياتي بحلم بوطن جديد، بوطن
هيك لازم نكمل، هيك لازم هيدا هون بلشت محاربهم للاخر. اكيد نحن ما حنفل، هن يستسلموا، هن اللي ناهبين البلد. هن الحسريين وهن اللي وصلونا لهون، مش نحن شعب بدنا حقوقنا، لا عنا مطالب ولا طالبين منهم شيء منهم، هول حقوقنا هن عم يسلبوها منا.
The riots over the past 2.5 days mark some of the most violent unrest Lebanon has seen since a wave of anti-government protests has swept the country since October the 17th earlier this year. For more on Lebanon's political deadlock, please visit our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. Turning now to Iraq, where supporters of the Ashaib Ahl al-Khaq organization, an Iranian-backed Shiite militia, staged a protest in the Iraqi capital Baghdad on Saturday in response to U.S. sanctions that were imposed on the group's leader a day earlier. Washington issued the sanctions against Qais al-Hazali and two other Iranian-linked leaders on Friday over their alleged role in killings of anti-government protesters across Iraq. The move infuriated the group's supporters who flooded the streets of Baghdad, during which they burned American flags and hung effigies of U.S. President Donald Trump, together with the leaders of Washington's regional allies, which among others included Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
هذه الجماهير استنكارا إلى قرار العقوبات الذي صدر من أمريكا ضد قادة من قادات الحشد الشعب المقدس.
The U.S. Treasury Department said in its statement that militant groups, which are led by the three sanctioned figures, opened fire and peaceful protests, killing dozens of innocent civilians. The Iranian-backed militant group in Iraq denied any role in the deaths of the protesters, who have demonstrated against the government for more than 2 months now. According to local police and medics, however, security forces have thus far killed more than 400 mostly unarmed protesters. Turning back to the Israeli capital, Jerusalem, where Brazil has officially opened a new trade and investment promotion agency in the city and signaled the mission's inauguration should serve as a first step ahead of Brasilia's intention to relocate its embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. President Jair Bolsonaro's son, lawmaker Eduardo Bolsonaro, addressed the opening ceremony for the mission, where he emphasized his father's commitment to move the embassy to Jerusalem.
I was with the President Jair Bolsonaro on phone before coming here, even before the FaceTime that we just made here, Benjamin Netanyahu. And he told me that for sure it's a commitment. He's going to move the embassy to Jerusalem. He's going to do that.
Eduardo Bolsonaro further highlighted that the Christian communities of Brazil were responsible for the strengthening relations with Israel and the president's decision to follow through on his decision to relocate Brazil's embassy to Jerusalem.
When the president, at that time, Congressman Jair Bolsonaro was arriving around Brazil in many airports, if you have the chance, go on YouTube and watch it. The crowd, like thousands of people, waiting for Jair Bolsonaro with two flags, the Brazilian flag and the Israeli flag. It shows a lot the support of the Christians of Brazil, and especially the evangelicals, what they expect from us, what they want for us. And they also stand together for their brothers, which are the Jewish here in Israel. So that's also why I'm sure that President Jair Bolsonaro will move the embassy to Jerusalem, and it will be really a great day.
Israel warmly welcomed Brazil's declared intention. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who attended the inauguration of the Brazilian trade mission, insisted that the embassy's relocation in the future would serve the interests of both Brazil and the Jewish state.
Obviously, we respect and appreciate President Bolsonaro's commitment first to open this office, which was something we decided on his visit here about a year ago, and his commitment to open a full-fledged embassy in Jerusalem, something we know that will serve the interest of Brazil and Israel.
Thank you for watching us. Praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. I'm Jonathan Hassan. Have a Erev Tov and Shavua Tov. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time.